At the beginning of Baha'u'llah's ministry, he was sent to the Black Pit of Tehran, the Siyah-Chal. At that time, he was a follower of the Bab, and at that time, two of his followers who were deeply alienated by the persecution against the followers of the Bab, carried forward by the Persian government, attempted assassination against the newly crowned Shah Nasiruddin. The attempt failed, but this brazen action unleashed unprecedented persecutions against the babies of Persia. Many were executed, including the famous Tahiri, the only woman among the letters of the living and one of the ones with highest spiritual rank. It was in the middle of this onslaught that the ancient beauty was thrown into the Síyáh-Chál or Black Pit of Tehran, a place beyond foul, with the most horrible air, where criminals of the worst kind were sent, a place where the light of the sun would not enter, and where people were forced to exist in the middle of filth and insects. Baha'u'llah was put on very heavy chains around his neck, along with many of his spiritual companions. A number of them were executed in the same place by orders of the king. It was in this occasion that Baha'u'llah received the first rays of his mission and prophetic mission. In one of his tablets, he describes the experience as follows. While engulfed in tribulations, I heard a most wondrous, a most sweet voice calling above my head. Turning my face, I beheld a maiden, the embodiment of the remembrance of the name of my Lord, suspended in the air before me. So rejoiced was she in her very soul that her countenance shone with the ornament of the good pleasure of God, and her cheeks glowed with the brightness of the All-Merciful. Betwixt earth and heaven she was raising a call which captivated the hearts and minds of men. She was imparting to both my inward and outer being tidings which rejoiced my soul and the souls of God's honoured servants. Pointing with her finger unto my head, she addressed all who are in heaven and all who are on earth, saying, By God, this is the best beloved of the worlds, and yet ye comprehend not. This is the beauty of God amongst you, and the power of his sovereignty within you, could ye but understand. This is the beginning of his prophethood, and the first stage of the most incredible spiritual epic in the history of humanity. The conditions were so extreme that this affected his physical conditions, and the consequences were so terrible that his son Abdul-Baha fainted after seeing him in the prison courtyard. There is a stark contrast between the evident horrible physical conditions of the prison and the spiritual environment surrounding Baha'u'llah. In the middle of a fetid pit surrounded by criminals, he receives his mission from God as his supreme manifestation and the beginner of a religious cycle of 500,000 years. Such is the destiny of every great spiritual figure in history. Spiritual greatness is directly associated to extreme physical pain and suffering, along with humiliation to the eyes of men. The imprisonment of Baha'u'llah brought also unspeakable suffering to his family, to his wife and his children. The imprisonment was finished after a few months, and immediately afterwards he was forced into exile along with his family. The government decided that in order to extinguish his spiritual influence, he should be sent away from his country to the Ottoman Empire. The imprisonment of Baha'u'llah in the Siyah-Chal stands as an example for all of his followers who decide to race to serve his cause. No matter how much we may suffer for the sake of God, it will never compare or even come close to the sufferings of Baha'u'llah.